And like right next to the computer, that would have been a tough one. Where I go? Does anyone remember? Well, first, somebody tell me what is the quadratic formula. It can be either in song or spoken word.
I don't know.
What is it?
Opposite of B.
Opposite of B. Plus or minus. Square root.
B squared minus 4AC.
Over to now you know quadratic formula. Okay, so that's our quadratic formula. Does anyone remember? Today we're talking about the discriminant, and I mentioned it like in one sentence yesterday. But does anyone remember which part of this is the discriminant?
What's in the square root?
Right, it is what's under the square root. Now the discriminant does not include the square root, but it is, like Leighton said, what is under the square root. So when we talk about the word discriminant, we are talking about just this b squared minus 4ac. Okay? So that would probably be a good thing to know if you're taking notes and writing a few things down, that the discriminant is just the b squared minus 4ac. Now, we are looking at the discriminant because it can tell us something about our solutions. Like you can see, if our discriminant, if what is under the square root is greater than 0, so anything greater than 0, I mean square root of 10 is something that we have, even if it's not a perfect square. We know that we will have two real solutions just by looking at the discriminant. If the discriminant equals 0, so if we have the square root of 0, then we will just have one solution. Remember yesterday?
Didn't we do something like this before?
We did. Yep, we figured this out yesterday. We just never put like a rule to it. Because think about it, in terms of our equation, if when we simplify everything, we have 2 plus or minus the square root of 10. Well, we'll have 2 plus the square root of 10, which will give us one number. 2 minus the square root of 10, which will give us another number. So if our discriminant is greater than 0, we have 2 x values that are our answer. If our discriminant is 0, well, the square root of 0 is just 0. So 2 plus 0 still gives us 2. 2 minus 0 still gives us 2. So it makes sense that if our discriminant is 0, that we will have one solution. If our discriminant is less than 0, so if it's like a negative number, then what do we talk about? We also looked at an example like this yesterday. If it's a negative number. Yeah, we can't square root a negative. So we would say it has no real solutions. That just means that, like it shows in the picture, that our graph is above the x-axis and facing up, or it is below the x-axis and facing down. Alright, so if we have a negative discriminant, if we have a negative square root, then that means that there are no solutions. And there will be some problems in the homework where it's no solution, where you'll get a negative in the discriminant and it won't. This is right, no real solutions. What questions do we have about that? And so you'll see questions like this on the homework. Determine the number of real solutions of x squared plus 8x minus 3 equals 0. Notice they don't ask us to solve. They just ask us to say how many solutions are there. So all we need to do is b squared minus 4ac. We just need to figure out what this is going to equal. Is it going to be a negative number, 0, or a positive number? So our a value is 1, b value is 8, and c value is negative 3. So we can just plug those in. 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3. 8 squared is 64. Negative 4 times negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 3, positive 12. So, I mean, we technically don't even need to add this together. We can see it's going to be a positive number, so So there's going to be two solutions. Yeah, it can be 76. They will ask you, like, show or explain your answer or something like that. So in your explanation, you would say, I mean, that there's two solutions, and you then could say 76 is greater than 0. And that would show that you understand that if we have a positive number, then we have two solutions. So that would work for your explanation. Would you guys like to see another example? Okay. Determine the number of real solutions. First thing we need to do is get this equal to 0. 2x squared minus 6x plus 7. So I brought that 6x to the other side and then put it in standard form. Our a value is 2, b is negative 6, and c is 7. So we take our b value and square it, negative 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 7. Opposite of 6, or sorry, negative 6 squared is positive 36. 4 times 2 is 56. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56. So we have negative 20 as our discriminant. What does that mean for a number of